Good morning, PapaRich. It's nice to see PapaRich outside our usual dojo at Evolve. And of course, this is going to be a fantastic conversation. Let's go.
Hello, everyone.
Hi. It's very good to see PapaRich at McDonald's. This is West Coast Park. We live around here, so this is fantastic. We're going to have a conversation. So, I call it Papa because it's sort of a term of endearment, and also in dojo, it's a sign of respect for the
Older people.
older people, PapaRich. So PapaRich, well, I mean, we've been training 6-7 years.
7 years, yes.
Yeah,
correct,
in the dojo.
Correct.
I mean, I was on and off because of injury, but in the last couple of years, it's been really good. And so, Papa is a mentor, a coach in many ways. So today we're going to get to know Papa a little bit and also to have a serious, fun, I hope serious and fun conversation about, what to do in terms of your purposeful living post 9-to-5 corporate jobs, basically, right? So first, Papa, maybe a little bit about yourself in your own words.
Yeah. So, good morning, everyone. First of all, my life in my corporate world is not 9 to 5. There is no starting time, there's no ending time, and it's not localized in just one country. My last 3 jobs was all involved in a regional function, and I was head of the regional function. The last one was with 32 countries under my responsibility. So you can imagine that the amount of traveling that has to take place in order to meet all my staff members and also my customers, and also the vendors itself, right?
Right.
Because as we provide services to our customers, we have to be careful in making sure that our suppliers are providing the right level of service to the customers too, right? So that's very important.
What was your function?
My function was a regional managing director.
Right.
So
you run the business operations.
I run 1/3 of the world at the time. Okay. So we divide it into Asia Pacific, Middle East, and Africa, and then the other one is North America and South America.
Right.
And the last one is Europe, of course. Europe includes Russia and all that.
Okay.
So we were involved.
Oh, so did you go to Russia too?
No, that was under another responsibility.
Okay.
I almost were to participate in some of the meetings there to share experiences of the Asia Pacific region. But I didn't have a chance to go there yet.
Right.
Okay.
So at that stage, probably life was pretty good, but not so healthy.
It's very busy. It keeps me very, very engaged, using my mental wise. But then, as you mentioned, right, the key thing here is that to life there is more than just work.
Yeah.
There's also the aspect of health.
Yep.
There's also the aspect of what's the next phase after your working life.
What is after that, right? Yep.
And then there's family, there's social, there's the other part of the business as well, right?
Right.
So we have to be very careful of that. So I remember when I started work many years ago, I decided that I want to retire at the age of 55.
Okay, that's a magic number.
Yeah, so there is a magical number at the time, and because of doing that, right, everything that I do, I am very focused on trying to hit the 55 magic number.
I see.
So I heard the Ming Hao's discussion about the three enoughs. Right?
Yeah, he talks about 3 enoughs.
Yeah, and mine wasn't so much about, I'm pushed to a situation where I need to go. I decided 34 years ago, before I reached 55, that I'm going to retire at 55. Okay. So my aim in working, my aim in objective training, in everything, right, it's all focused on the 55. And on the magical year, I retire.
Oh,
okay.
So the enough is enough. Check.
So I have to make sure that I have
was
enough.
It enough of the job? So I assume the first 2 enoughs are done, right? So first enough is enough of the job. Second enough is financially okay enough, right? So, but there was another enough that Ming Hao talked about, right?
So the key thing about this, during my whole journey to reach the 55 years, I have to decide on how to make sure that I have enough of money to tie me through, right?
Yep.
But another important function is I have been working and using my time almost like during my waking hours. Right?
Yeah.
So now when I retire, what do I do
With this?
in order to make sure that I do not suddenly get switched off and pass away? Right?
Well,
to say.
pass away in the sense of being non-purpose, useless in life.
Right,
so to
that's
speak,
right. He's
But yeah,
totally
okay.
oblivious to anything.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
yeah. But it's finding that purpose, right?
Yeah.
So what was going through your head at that point?
So before I retire, the first thing I want to do is I said, when I retire, I want to use my time well. So I decided that, when I say that I have enough of work, right, I want to do something that I have never done before.
Okay.
So that give me a broad category of things that I can consider doing.
But that's a big category.
Big category. Right?
Yeah.
So I draw back to I wrote a few points, right, and a few points includes I've never really taken care of my health as an objective.
Okay,
right?
health.
Number two thing is that I have never really volunteered my time. I've always been focusing on my own.
So outward
on
focus.
the company and all that, right? So I want to focus on my time. I want to focus on family and building social connections or reconnection.
Right.
So that we will continue to talk about the past, but at the same time look into the future.
Yep.
Okay. So
I see.
that was what I decided. And to me, one of the first things that I decided to do was to do some philanthropy.
Okay.
So in the financial planning, one of the things that I have is I say, okay, I'm going to make some donation. So which I did. And when I make the donation, the real thing is that I believe that my donation is for a purpose that was stated by the organizing organization.
Yeah, as they what they say,
what they will do, right?
Yep.
Sometimes it is not done in that way.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
The Kidney Foundation situation
I
really
remember that
brought
one,
me
NKF.
back to earth to say that sometimes money given may not be really used in a way that it was meant
Wait,
for.
did you give to NKF?
No, I was thinking that one of the
But
things
it's
I
a
wanted
trigger.
to do. It was
It's
a
a trigger.
trigger.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, I
remember that
decided that I want to be very careful with how I donate money.
Yep.
And
Yep.
it must be through organization that has transparency on what they say they will be doing and they
Yep.
do what they say they'll be doing.
And
right?
not make a golden toilet bowl.
And those
things like
kind
that.
of things
Yeah, okay,
will
yeah.
not be good.
No, but I think what you're saying is go a bit deeper than just what they write on their marketing brochure.
Yes.
Get to know what they're trying to do,
Yes.
right? And
And
before you actually give your money.
And the real question is, how do you do that?
Yes.
I mean, you can read into their
Brochure,
catalogs,
their
their
catalog, yeah.
brochures, their
Websites,
magazines,
yeah.
even to websites, right? And sometimes what you read may not be what is
You
really
get-
the situation, right?
Yeah,
So I
yeah,
decided that I want to use my time.
Yeah.
So I killed two birds with one stone, right? So I used my time to
Fantastic.
do something,
Right.
and then I also use my time to learn about the organization.
So before you actually give more money or with other financial means.
Exactly right.
Okay, so you know that there's actually a need before you commit.
Correct.
Okay.
And then even when I have made the decision, right, to donate, I can see how the donation money is used really when I visit or when I help
Yeah,
out in the
yeah, yeah.
organization.
I
So
see.
this is
That's a
something
very
that
good
I
thought.
connect it. And this is part and parcel of my working life as an auditor.
That's why-
I have to make sure that everything is per what you said.
So
right?
actually auditor skill actually come to you.
Very useful.
Very useful.
Okay.
Very good. Okay, good.
So with one of the
So,
first thing that I did was to help up in a telephone, as being a telephone agent of an organization that handles suicide calls.
I see.
Okay.
It's like a
And-
friend of the Samaritan or something like that, right?
Yeah, that's right. So this is where people who go through a certain phase of their life and they need some assistance, right? Some
Yeah.
help, somebody
Yeah.
to talk to before they decide what they want to do next in their life.
Were you trained before you go on the call?
Yes.
Okay,
so
good.
I decided to sign up and they give me a training course.
I see.
And in the training course, we were told how to answer, how to
Right.
seek questions, and how to talk to this person in a way that the person will feel that we are a friend and we are not like somebody who's telling them, you don't do
Criticizing.
this, you don't do
We're
that,
not criticizing.
you are dumb and all
We are a
that.
listener.
Yeah, we are a good listener, right? So that's what we do.
Yep.
So I took the course and I handle some of the
calls.
that comes in.
Oh, so you
from
actually
agent.
handle some of the calls?
I attended the call and I handled the calls.
Wow.
Okay. And there was one particular situation whereby the caller called up, okay, and the caller says, I'm a teenager. And I say, where are you, right? Trying to seek out more information. He says, I'm in the water, and the water is chest high. And I say, what is in front of you? You know, water. Are you with friends or anybody? Right? He says, right in front of me is islands of Indonesia, and right behind me is nobody. So I only see a bus coming in once in a while. I say, then which direction are you walking? Are you walking towards the beach or are you walking somewhere else? He says, I'm walking towards the island. And then she hang up the phone.
Wow.
So it's exactly right. Wow. So I turned to the supervisor who is managing that time, right? And I said, so what do I do? He says, there's nothing you can do because
Wow.
this person is using a cell phone and this person, we do not know where they are. We can only tell the police.
Decided.
So what I did was I go back home and then hope that the next morning when I read the newspaper, there won't be a floating body. So I decided that if I want to make a difference, right, I want to be able to make a personal change before they reach to such a
So you want to go
decision point.
upstream,
I want to go upstream.
in a sales and CRM.
Exactly right.
I see.
Exactly
But
right.
I mean, it's not a joking matter. But the idea is you want to do something that you can impact, rather than it's too late.
Yeah, exactly right. So all I'm just sharing is that, you know, as just like in any working situation, when you go down a certain particular path and you find that that path is not meeting to your passion or to your objective, then you can make a change.
Yeah.
You can make
You have a choice.
To go and do something else, which is what I did. So I've decided to focus on helping children. That means those who are young and who are impressionable and who are willing to make use of you as a mentor, make use of you as a coach, and we ourselves become mentor and coach to them. Right? And I use that as my volunteer function.
Right.
And I've been doing this for the last 15 years since my retirement, starting first with Boys Town, and then going now even with the BJJ for the blind, the visually handicapped. That's right.
Which actually, incidentally, we just came from Dining in the Dark last night, and we really enjoyed it. So shout out to Dining in the Dark. Give you a plug. We'll send you some photo here, and it's really enjoyable. Do sign up and support them because they do need your support as well.
Yes.
Okay, so back to this story. I really like the idea that staying consistent in some of these. I think you get to see the kids grow up.
Oh.
Tell me some of the story and of the kids growing up.
A lot of the people that I work with, right? They ask me a question, so how long are you going to be in this organization helping the kids?
Are you here 1 day, 2 days?
1 day or 2 days. And my response is, how long do you need me? That is the question, and not how long I'll be here. Because the so-called beneficiaries, right? They always have got volunteers who come in, make 1 or 2 appearances,
and then disappear for good.
And then they don't see them anymore. So how do you make a real impact unless you can be there, teaching them the values of being consistent, being determined, and to be on time, helping them on a particular day of the week, become
Always
a
there for
schedule,
them.
always there for them, So these kids have been there, looking at me, seeing me coming in, helping them, smiling, playing with them, challenging them.
Calling you Papa.
Calling me Papa. And I've seen the kids when they were in very young, maybe like primary 1, primary 2.
6, 7.
And I do a function known as a fun fit. It's a fitness in a fun way.
Yeah, if it's okay, we'll put some photo here as well.
Of course.
Maybe without their faces and all, but I think it'll be fun,
I remember one child, he come in and he says, I said, you got to do skipping. So what we did was we linked all the rubber bands together, and then we formed a skipping rope, and then we got this person to skip, and she doesn't know how to skip, right?
Oh,
then
okay.
We have to train. So we break down the steps of skipping. So when I turn the rope, it touches the ground, I say, you jump. Okay, so then she anticipated the jumping, and she got hit a few times by the rope. So I said, okay, let's try it again, slowly. So jump, jump, jump. About a few weeks later, she was skipping with her eyes closed, and she was skipping hundreds of times.
Oh,
Okay,
wow.
so I asked her,
Discovering something, right?
discovering something about herself. All right, and she's a young girl, and people don't want to play with her because she's young and she's very demure, very gentle. But now they found that, hey, this person know how to skip. So this
She's
person
fun now.
discover her potential, her
Yeah.
ability,
Yeah.
just through training.
Yeah.
And so I asked her the question, how is school? And she come back and say, oh, everything is good except my math is not so good. And I said, have you tried it? You say, yeah, but not so good. I said, do you remember skipping? When you skip, you try it the first time and it doesn't work. You try it the second time, it doesn't work. But you keep on trying. And then with good coaching, you are now able to do it very well. Practice make good perfect.
Yep.
Then you say, okay, let me try it. A few months later, I follow up with her and I say, so how is your mathematics? Very good. I score 100 upon 100.
Whoa.
So
That is beyond joy.
is a translation from a fitness program to the real life schoolwork, right? Through the fitness program, we have what we call as a competition.
Yeah.
And in this competition,
So,
our-
but before you go into a competition, I just want to say that I want to highlight the fact that what you have inculcate is not just an activity, but a value.
correct.
And the value, I suppose, in many of these kids, where they are in the homes and so on, they have never observed those values at home.
Exactly right.
So what we need to do in philanthropic work is not just to even give money or give time, but actually to inculcate the values that we need to pass.
Translation of values.
Yeah,
Correct.
That is what they'll carry for the rest of their life. The value stays with them. The value of persistence, discipline, tenacity, right?
Correct.
So, and then they realize, not just for skipping, not just for maths, not just for anything, but it's everything in life, right?
And that is a real thing.
Yeah. I mean, that's what's going through my head when you were talking about this.
Exactly right. And I was going to point out that an important thing about life lesson, right, is you win and you lose.
Yeah.
So I organize a competition between communities. So like Henderson will challenge Jalan Bukit Merah, and then they will two groups together.
Two groups,
right?
yeah.
So the best in Henderson will say, I'm already the best runner. I'm so bored, nothing will challenge me. I say, you're the best in Henderson, but are you the best in
Telok Blangah?
Telok Blangah? Are you the best in against Jalan Bukit
West,
Merah?
yeah, okay.
So they say, okay, why don't we have a challenge, right? And this person who is so proud of himself went through this challenge, and there was a program that was taken by CNA on the Red Dot, whereby this person says, what's the use of challenging anymore? La? We lose already. La. What's the use,
Okay.
So the person has to be taught how to lose and how to win. Right. So
how to lose graciously and how to win graciously.
exactly.
Yeah.
So we have got volunteers who go in and talk to this leader, the captain of the group, of the Henderson group, and says, okay, it doesn't matter, we lose, but maybe the next activity we will win.
Yeah.
And true enough, he plucked up his courage, stand up, put on the captain's band, and continue playing the game.
Right.
And in the end, the team won. So the important thing is that in life there is going to be setbacks.
Yeah.
All right. But how do you teach the children about setbacks, about handling setbacks, about pulling themselves, standing up again, and then going forward again?
Yep.
How do you do that? So the Fun Fit program also helps.
Designed to competition. So the competition is to inculcate the value of learning how to win graciously and how to lose and come back.
Yes.
Right?
And
So
also important thing is that don't be too arrogant. There's always a mountain that is higher for you to climb. So it's part and parcel of life.
it's journey. It's the journey. Teaching them about the journey of up and down.
So
I see.
just now you asked the question about, so I've seen these kids, right? So now I have seen these kids after 6-7 years later, right?
Yeah.
So when I meet the guy who says, give up lah, don't do anymore, right? And I say, so do you remember the TV program? Ayah malu lah, don't talk about this lah. Now I'm a grown person, And he's actually coming back to help me to train the newer generation of
that
people.
is so lovely. Yeah.
So to me, the success of a function that I'm doing passionately, right, is that those who benefited from this program actually comes back and help the next generation because they believe in it. Okay.
Yeah, that's an amazing story. So the continuation is important because if you only seed one generation, then it's not exponentially expanding. So now, if these kids were to take on the mantle of helping others,
Yeah.
then the community as a whole will also improve.
Yes,
right?
because it takes a whole village
Yeah,
to
it
bring
takes
up
a
a
whole
child,
village.
right?
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely,
correct.
absolutely. So, yeah.
So another area where I find a lot of satisfaction, right, in the FunFit program is with the Singapore Children Cancer Foundation. Right? So where I'm helping the children who are recovering from cancer, and some of the children are good, but they are very well protected by the family circle of grandparents and parents and aunties. They say, "Oh, my child been recovering from cancer, cannot do this, cannot do that."
I get it. So when the kid is sick, the parents or the guardian basically say, no, don't move, I'll get a water for you. Don't move,
Exactly,
right? Don't get out of bed.
exactly.
Don't, just basically lie down there and pretend to be really sick.
Exactly
Okay,
right.
but I mean they're sick. It's just that they are not given an opportunity to even move, right? Yeah.
And
Okay.
because of this isolation, right, the child cannot be a child, cannot behave and live a childhood life.
Right.
Okay. So in a program which I designed, right, what it encourages is that there will be other children who is having the same problem
Yep.
coming together, and they are laughing, jumping up and down, and behaving like
children.
normal children.
Playing.
Playing, and to everybody's surprise, they do run, they do play games, and they do enjoy themselves.
Yeah.
And it speed up their recovering process because they are really not thinking about, I'm going to go for my next chemo. Instead,
Yeah.
they'll be I'm looking for my next game, my next fun, my next activity.
Yeah.
So I want to quote a few examples. One example was a grandmother was with a grandchild who just came from some chemo treatment, and he was having some side effect from the chemo treatment.
Right.
And the grandmother came to me and says, "Oh, my grandson cannot do this, cannot do that, cannot do this, cannot do that." So I said, "Amma, if you don't mind, you just sit here with your grandchild and then you observe only lah." Okay. So while we were playing the games of tug of war and running around and all that, right? The grandchild nudged at the grandmother and said, "Amma, I want to go down and play. I don't want to sit here." So he said, "Cannot." He says, "Amma, I want." So the child was very motivated to participate.
Yeah, I can
so
imagine.
the grandmother talked to me. I said, "Okay, I give you a very simple game. Okay, I have a pail, I have a sandbag. Amma, you throw the sandbag into the pail for hand-eye coordination."
Yeah.
And the grandchild also do the same. For whatever reason, Amma lost. Amma is very good. And the Amma was so glad to see that the boy was jumping up and down and said, "I win."
Yeah.
And then the Amma said, "Okay lah, you go and play. I'm going down for my coffee." And left the grandson to me, and we play.
How old was this grandson?
The grandson is probably 5 years old.
Wow, okay. Before primary.
Before primary. So she was really enjoying. Another one was this child was lying like Cleopatra, cannot lift anything, cannot lift a muscle. Even the eyelids are affected. Okay, so that means the eyelids is a very serious case where the eyelids cannot open up and down. Right? So you cannot blink, you cannot do anything. And the mother brought the kid to US for some physiotherapy treatment so that it can come back and be able to function more normally with either on the wheelchair or with a walking stick.
Right.
And basically, when he was brought back, because the US says he's not going to walk, he's not going to be able to do any of these things. So she sent the kid to play at the FunFit program.
Okay.
So a few years later, the kid now go to secondary school. So I check up on the welfare of the kid. The mother's major complaint: this kid now refused to sit down, refused to walk. He's always running up and down, and he's dancing all the time. And I said, "Isn't that good?" And
he found the joy of life.
You find the joy. It's all through the FunFit program. When you saw people doing the tug of war, you saw people doing skipping, you saw people doing running around, and he was determined to pull himself up. Rather than through a physiotherapist one-to-one, he is now doing it subconsciously. And he's doing all the physio things
by himself.
And he's doing it in front of everybody, and he's enjoying it.
I think this is the problem of some of the modern medicine, right? Because I'm not saying more medicine is a problem. It's the fact that we focus so much on the externality and we forget that it's the will that sometimes we need to fix, right?
You hit it on the
Yeah,
spot.
the will from the inside, you
Yeah.
can't stop it.
Yeah.
You cannot stop it. The passion, the will, the determination.
Yeah, exactly right.
If you see that, they will go places without even you telling what. But so now in this case, they go places you don't want them to go.
Yeah. So
Which is a good thing.
the mother is complaining that he's running up and down. You know, he's non-stopping, moving, dancing, and all that. I said that's a good problem to have, right? And he said yes. So it was good. So I see a lot of children improving.
Right, right.
Recently, even at the CCF, we saw a child who was always moving on the ground. Cannot walk, cannot use the walking stick. Right now, she learned to stand up and she's playing with hoops on her own. And she's
Wow.
walking and all that. So the satisfaction to me as an organizer for this, right, is that it's as good as when I was working, you know.
Yeah.
And I see that, I get the new
Achieve.
contract, I get the new deal. This one is, I see it in the personification of a child who really recovers through the work that you put in.
Yeah.
And you do not need to be paid, you know. You just have the satisfaction of mind, heart, and then you say, I want to go on. I want to continue to help the next child.
Yeah.
One good thing about volunteering like this in a fun fit program like this, right, is that it tells me that I have to be fit so that I'm able to do this. So it gives me the internal motivation to continue to be fit, to be able to understand how to help more
So
children.
this is where I come in and say every morning, most mornings when we come in, if it's a bit early in the gym, dojo, we see Papa, you know, hanging upside down with his hand and he's doing a reverse pull-up. And many of us will say, whoa, when we grow up, and we're not young, we want to be just like Papa, right?
So
It's amazing.
there are other organizations that go in and help, right? So some of these includes children's homes, some of these includes poorer communities.
Yeah.
And recently we just started BJJ with SAVH, which
the
is the
visually
Singapore
impaired,
Association for the Visually Handicapped, right? And the key thing here is that a lot of people assume that the handicap, the visually handicapped, cannot do many things.
Yeah.
But on the contrary, you know, they just don't have the vision to see. But boy, your other senses are so
heightened,
enhanced.
right?
Your hearing, your memory is so good, you know. And as we teach them the skill, we found that they remember the skill, they execute the skill more technically than those who see. And they are very enthusiastic about learning the new skill. And we as volunteers, I see the joy, and we also want to participate in the joy. And so therefore we train harder in order to help the visually
I think
handicapped
just from yesterday's experience, for example, when we were totally in the pitch dark having our dinner, you will see that the senses heighten even without training, right? Kitty, who was sitting next to me, I could hear her crunching her salad so
I
clearly
heard too.
because the crunching of grub was so loud, much louder than if your eyes are seeing and is interfering with the other senses, so to speak, right? So that is actually a very good reminder that actually they can be much more useful than we think. Right?
And you mentioned about the hearing, right? I am listening to my own taste bud and say, wow, the chicken actually tastes very good.
The taste are better.
The taste is better, and the vegetable seems to be more crunchy.
Yeah.
Right. And the smell you can smell
Heightened.
all the there's vinegar in the salad. The ice cream is coming. You know?
Yeah.
So with all these senses, every human being has been provided with a set of potential things that we can use.
Yeah.
The key question is, how do you make use of what you have already and get them to use it to the fullest, rather than to complain about what they don't have and then say, I'm not going to do any more things.
Yeah.
So that is a big difference, and we have seen it in our working life.
Yeah.
So why are we keeping it to ourselves? So I decided that the best thing for me to do is to amplify what I have learned in the working life through this program which I set up, right, as a volunteer. So any retiree can do that. Rather than just sitting down at a coffee shop and stirring coffee, right, I prefer to be stirring the life of the young children so that it can become an impactful difference as they move on and live on.
Absolutely, I love it. So one thought came to mind as you were describing that was about the senses, is that when we roll, very many years back, you tell me that close your eyes. We take close your eyes because then you enhance your
Exactly.
feel and your
Exactly.
gravity appreciation of where your body is vis-a-vis how gravity is, right?
Exactly right.
So in many ways, I think all of us are using all our senses all the time and trying to train all our senses all the time.
Yeah.
But maybe you need to switch off some of the senses
Correct.
and just work on one sense at a time.
Correct.
Work on your eyes, work on your ear, work on your taste, work on your touch, work on right. And that is a lesson in itself, I think, from what we have experienced in BJJ and all the martial arts.
Yeah.
Yeah. But okay, so back to this conversation, just to close it up, is that we started by talking about the three enoughs, right? First enough, second enough, Ming Hao's, and the third enough. Not just, okay, I want to give money and then I go play golf for the rest of my life, right? No, think about your time and your capability and all your skills that you have
acquired.
right? Now, you may not want to do fun fit like Papa, but there's so many needs out there that could suddenly use your skills, especially if you have been in a professional setting and you have any of those professional skills. It's useful in many of the philanthropic work. Now, if you don't find something that is good for you, then go set up one. Right? No shame.
And that is a very good advice in the sense that we have all acquired the skills, right? But we have not known how to use the skill every time. It doesn't automatically switch off,
Yeah.
You just have to use the skill in a different way. Right?
Yeah.
So one of the key things about doing work with the CCF and with the other communities, right, is that I learn more about this organization.
Yep.
I learn what their needs really are.
Yep.
And because of that, when I make a donation,
It's
I
impactful.
know it is impactful. I know it will be
Yeah.
translated into things which are going to be beneficial to the beneficiaries.
Right.
So it's very important that I seed it to the clients.
Yeah.
Because if I see the donation money go to somewhere else, then it does not satisfy me. It only make me feel that I do something or I think I do something, but it doesn't really translate into the benefit.
Here in this case, you see the ultimate beneficiary, right?
Exactly.
As opposed to an organization that has nice brochure,
Yes,
and
that's
you do
right.
not know really who actually gets the benefit at the end, right?
Correct.
Right. So very good. So maybe one last thing. I know you also have some outreach in other countries. Let's talk about Thailand, right? So maybe you want to talk about the plan to go and help out with one of the orphanages. Tell about your experience with the orphanage as a closing.
So one of the key things which I did was that, so I've experienced it in Singapore, right? So the next question I asked is, what about in some other countries? And because I train Muay Thai, I decided to pay a visit to the school, Siok Tong Camp in Pattaya. And there I asked a question, right? What are the children organization that could benefit from what programs I'm doing?
Right.
And one of the suggestions was to go to the Pattaya orphanage.
Right.
And I see these children, some of them are 2 days old, and they are being left at the orphanage.
Oh, so the basically abandoned kids, baby.
They are just fresh born babies, right? And through the years when I've been going there, I see this baby growing a toddler, playful, and some of them actually growing up into going to high school already, right?
Right.
And you see that there is a lot of needs, not just in Singapore, but there's also needs in other countries as well.
Yeah.
I help in the orphanages. I help in the School of the Blind, a School of the Deaf. I help in another organization, which is for the anti-human trafficking organization.
Okay.
So these are children that are taken from the streets, and then they are, sent overseas, or they are being crippled to do some work that they do not.
Or like begging.
And all that sort of thing. So I go there.
This was in
pre-COVID.
Thailand?
Yeah, these are all in Thailand. These during the pre-COVID days, I go there every quarter.
Right.
Right, so I go there, and they get to know me because we play fun games and things like that. So an important element is that when I go there, I do not wait for them to do for me a show.
Yeah.
Instead, I go there, take out my jacket, and then I play games with them. So they participate. I make them participate as well.
Yep.
Part and parcel of their fun fit games.
Yep.
So
Yep.
they do not see the need to go in and do a performance, a dance performance for me. We are all doing this together.
I like that. I like that.
Yeah,
Because
so-
normally what happens is that if you bring gifts or money, the school compels them to do a performance for the donor.
Exactly,
Right?
to
So
thank
you're saying,
the
no,
donor.
don't do that.
Correct.
We're here and then you're going to play with us. We're going to organize some activity for you.
Yeah,
I
and
love
then
that.
on top of that, you know,
Yeah.
we give donation
Sure.
from the money that we have collected, and we also go there and buy groceries like rice, like, you know, like canned food.
Yeah.
They
Yeah.
love sardines, so we
Yeah.
buy them sardines. They love mami,
Yep,
you
yep.
know, all the noodles, so we'll buy for them and then
Yeah.
we send it to them, and they were grateful. But the more interesting thing is that I engage with the children
Yeah.
rather than with an organization.
Yep.
So I see the children, and when my money is donated, I see the children benefiting with better beds, better cribs, better playground,
Absolutely.
and all that. So it makes me feel satisfied that I am really part and parcel of
Yep.
this change that they are engaged in.
So we're planning a trip in March next
In
year.
March, yes.
If, God willing, it happens, right?
Yeah, you will happen.
And if you're listening to this and you're compelled to give some of your money, channel it through me. I will collect it on behalf of PapaRich, and then we will go and we will buy, you know, the necessary stuff, and maybe even give cash donation to the orphanages in Pattaya.
Absolutely.
So with that, Papa, I want to thank you for this conversation. Any
I just want to say this, okay? At the retirement life, one of the key things that we have is time. Time is what we have. Okay, money we have already accumulated. You know, now it's a matter of how you use the money. But time is what we can use to benefit not just for ourselves, but also for the people that we're helping.
Absolutely.
Okay, and if you can find a passion, if you can find a cause, a passion that you can really do it, love to do it, you will do it every day. For me, at the retirement life, I'm doing 7 days a week, several hours a day, and I'm having so much fun. You know, and the best thing is that I wake up and I begin to create what is my program for the day, for this group of children, for this organization, and it makes my mind active, which is a good thing to do as a senior, because or else you will find your brain is not being used because there's no more new contract to sign, new customer to make. No, actually the children are the one who is very demanding, and it really put ourselves right on the ball of back in the corporate world, but now in a philanthropic world.
Thank you. So with that, I want to pass the ball back to you, the listener, to think about your own enough.